The beginning. Thank you both. Right from the beginning. Thank you, Lou. Thank you. And I want to thank President of the New Hampshire Federation of College Republicans, Harrison Spalthorf. Harrison, wherever you may be. Thank you, Harrison. New Hampshire Federation of Republican Women President, Elizabeth Girard. Thank you, Elizabeth. Thank you. The founder of the 603 Alliance, Fran Windolbo. And also my New Hampshire senior advisor, who's been with me for a long time, Steve Stepanek. Thank you very much, Steve. Stand up. Great job. Great job from day one. My state director, Trevor Nuclearly. Trevor, thank you very much. As well as somebody who really did a great job, ran for office, did very well, Caroline Levitt. Thank you. Thank you. Did a great job. And a very good friend of mine is here today, and he lives here, and he loves this state very much, and he was the first person that was with me. He said, you'll do it. This was a long time ago, in 2015, maybe before that, but he's been a friend of mine for a long time, loves this state, and he's a political pro. Corey Lewandowski. Where is he? Where is he? He's such a good guy. Thank you, Corey. And by the way, we will take a few questions if you want after we're finished. Is that okay? So I do that early so you can think. Otherwise, if I do it right at the end, that's a better way to do it. I'll finish and then say, any questions? Okay, let's get out of here. Now you have a whole little time to think about it, but we'll take a few questions, okay? You think Biden takes questions? I don't think so. I don't think so. You saw yesterday, he had the cue card. He said, call this one. This is what she's going to ask, and here's the answer. They never did that with me in the White House, I can tell you. On Tuesday, Joe Biden officially announced that he will seek 4 more disastrous years. As you know, I've done very well against crooked Hillary Clinton, but today I'm going to do this, and I think this could be maybe the most important part of what I'm going to say, because this is going to be a major announcement. Are you ready? Is everybody ready? I will be retiring the name Crooked from Hillary Clinton and her moniker, and I'm going to give her a new name. I don't know, like maybe Lovely Hillary or Beautiful Hillary, but I'm going to retire the name Crooked so that we can use the name for Joe Biden, because he'll be known from now on as Crooked Joe Biden. You would think that Hillary would be very happy today. She's out there someplace celebrating. Because there's never been anyone in the history of American politics so crooked or dishonest as Joe Biden. And the press absolutely refuses to report it, all that press back there. Because frankly, they're just as crooked as he is, and they are. They're just as crooked. The choice in this election is now between strength and weakness, between success or failure, between safety or anarchy, between peace or conflict, and prosperity or catastrophe. We are living in a catastrophe. With your vote on November 5th, 2024, we're going to crush Joe Biden and the White House, that gorgeous, beautiful White House. We have to take it back. We're going to beat him at the ballot box, and we're going to settle our unfinished business. It's unfinished. Biden announced his presidential campaign by, get this, a prepackaged video. I was going to do that for you today. I'll do a little video, send it up to New Hampshire. You wouldn't have been very happy about that. But when you're running for president, you think at least one time you'd get up and say, I'm running for president. Where am I going? Where the hell am I going? I want to get out. Oh, no, over there, over there. A prepackaged video that took supposedly 7 takes to get it right, if right is what you want to call it. In it, he says he's running because Trump and MAGA pose a threat to democracy. Can you believe it? Got to explain. MAGA is Make America Great Again, right? Nope, no threat there. No, it's Biden who poses the threat to democracy because he is grossly incompetent, has no idea what he's doing, and basically he doesn't have a clue, and that's a very bad position to put our country in. Our country is in a very dangerous position right now. Very, very dangerous. We're now in a nation, and we are a nation in serious decline, a nation that has lost its way. We're led by a hopeless person, but we will win in 2024 and make America great again. We can do it. It's not too late. It's not too late. But we've got a year and a half to go. That's a long time with what's happening to our country. That's a long time still. With such a calamitous presidency, it's almost inconceivable that Biden would have even thought of running for re-election. He's destroyed our country. And yet he says in his recorded piece that he wants to finish the job. That's right. He wants to finish the job of destroying our country. But on that, he's actually very close. He is very close to finishing the job, unfortunately. One of the most important issues in this campaign will be which candidate can rescue. And this country needs a rescuing. We have to rescue America from the wreckage of the Biden economy. Under my leadership, we built the greatest economy in the history of the world. In fact, we actually did it twice because that horrible gift from China came over. COVID, or the China virus, as many people say. Actually, in New Hampshire, you say China virus, pretty much. But now we will do it again. We will do it again. We passed the largest tax cuts and reforms in American history. We cut more job-killing regulations than any administration ever, also in history. We achieved American energy independence, and we were about set to do American energy dominance, bigger than Saudi Arabia, bigger than Russia combined, ×2. And we slashed the price of gasoline down all the way down to $1.87 a gallon. Doesn't that sound good? That's why you have this horrible inflation, because of what happened to your energy. Now everything's up. Now it's happening to everything. Thank you. Thanks to our policies, the typical New Hampshire family saw their annual income rise by $6,000, the largest increase in recorded history, the largest. Nobody's ever seen that, by $6,000. Everybody was happy. For decades, the corrupt globalist establishment savagely betrayed New Hampshire workers. You know that better than most. I see those beautiful factory buildings. Some are now apartment houses, and some are now senior citizens. But the factories, that's what you had to do. The factories, there's so many gone. Your state lost 1 in 4 manufacturing jobs after the NAFTA disaster and China's entrance into the World Trade Organization. But after years of cruel sellouts by past leaders, I ended NAFTA, the worst trade deal ever made. That was the worst trade deal ever made, what they did to us for so many decades, and replaced it with the incredible USMCA, Mexico-Canada. That's considered now the best trade deal ever made. So good, in fact, that Mexico and Canada are now trying to renegotiate the deal with the Biden administration. I say, don't do it. Don't talk about it. Don't do it. Somebody over there told me it's unfair. I said, you know what? We lived with unfair for decades. Now they say it's unfair. No, we made a great deal, and you're all manufacturers, farmers, everybody is benefiting. USMCA, we're very proud of that. Don't let them renegotiate. I withdrew from the job-crushing Trans-Pacific Partnership. That would have totally destroyed this country. They were all set to sign. Obama, Barack Hussein Obama, they were all set to sign it. And I stood up to China like no administration has ever done before. Bringing in hundreds and hundreds of billions of dollars, pouring into our treasury from China when no other president had gotten even 10 cents. Not one president got, and I literally mean not 10 cents. We got hundreds of billions of dollars. I don't think they like me too much, but that's okay. Well, everybody else is paid off by China, including, by the way, our president, okay? It's a big problem. You wonder why he does nothing about China, why he doesn't do what he's supposed to be doing, because he got millions of dollars from China. You see it. I made big promises to the people of New Hampshire, and as your president, I kept every single promise. When China unfairly targeted our lobstermen, I gave them hundreds of millions of dollars in relief straight from the money we were taking in from China. We took a little bit out, like a little bit's hundreds of millions of dollars, by the way, but that's a lot to a lobsterman. And we brought it back. I made a deal with the European Union to completely eliminate tariffs on American lobster. You know that. They were charging us big tariffs so that we couldn't sell to them. The first EU tariff reduction on any product in over 20 years. Nobody ever asked the EU, or if they did, they didn't get it, because they're very difficult people to deal with. I want to tell you that. They don't care about us. They care about them. And maybe that's the way it's supposed to be, right? I also opened up 5,000 square miles of ocean that Barack Obama closed to New England fishermen. You know about that. But you also know I opened them up totally. Nobody could even tell me why they closed. They get miles and miles of beautiful ocean front, and now I understand that they want to close it up again. Is that true? I can't believe it. I can't believe it. Yeah, let Canada do all. You know, Canada's the one that wanted it closed because they want to do the business. And I gave our farmers $28 billion out of the tariffs that we took in from China because they were treated very unfairly. I said, how much would it be? They said, approximately $28 billion. I said, I'm going to take it from China. China paid them $28 billion. Who else is going to do that one, okay? Tell that one to President Xi. You mind giving our farmers $28 billion? Actually, better than that, we signed an incredible trade deal with China, but once COVID came in, I didn't care about trade deals so much, but it's a tremendous trade deal, $50 billion, and it was an amazing deal. But once COVID came in, I didn't even talk about it. In everything I did, I put New Hampshire first, and I put America first, everything. When I left office, we handed Joe Biden the fastest economic recovery ever recorded, all with no inflation. We didn't have inflation. We had low energy prices that kept it down. When he stopped the energy, stopped the drilling, you know, I have a sign, drill we must, right? They have a sign, don't drill. We won't, they won't do it. They won't do it. What they're doing is crazy. And what it's done is raised everything. And now everything's so high, and now they've taken on their own inflationary trend. It's not just energy anymore. But they did that with energy. They destroyed our economy with the high prices. All electric cars. Oh, that's wonderful. Everybody. They don't have enough electric to turn on the lights. And now they're going to say, let's do all electric. I love electric cars. They go for about an hour and a half. Then you're in the middle of nowhere. You're saying, how do I get this thing charged up? He took that booming economy and he promptly blew it to shreds. He took the greatest economy in history. It was just announced that in the first quarter of 2023, GDP growth was a very weak 1.1%, and the forecast show it's going to be getting much, much worse. So we're at 1% and getting worse. That doesn't sound too prosperous, does it? Look at these other countries that are eating our lunch. I had them. They were doing anything they could. They respected your leader. They respected your country. I want to tell you, they saw me coming. They weren't happy. They weren't happy. Every time France, or one of the countries, but France and particular. They were a little difficult. I really like their leader, but he's a very difficult guy. And whenever he got cute and wanted to tax our people or our companies, I'd just say, that's okay. We're going to put a 100% tariff on all wine and champagne coming into the United States. They would say, no, 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 we will not do it. We have decided we won't do it. No, but I don't think they do that. I don't think they do that in this group here. We should have tremendous power. We have tremendous economic power that we don't use. But, you know, we better be smart because soon we're not going to have economic power. We're not going to have anything. Since Joe Biden took office, the typical family has lost over $7,400 in annual income. Think of that. Inflation is out of control. Banks are collapsing. Banks are going bad. That's a bad sign. You remember 1929, it started with the banks. Real wages are down 24 months in a row, the longest losing streak ever in our country. Think of that. Real wages. That's what it's all about, is real wages. The trade deficit has surged to a record $1 trillion. Household wealth has declined by $4 trillion. These are numbers that nobody's ever seen before. You know, they stand up and they say, oh, the economy is good. The economy is horrible. After Biden shut down the Keystone XL pipeline that I started and passed a $20 billion tax hike on American energy, gas prices in New Hampshire are up 53%. And your state, congratulations, you did have one good thing from this administration. You set a record, if you like records, but not like this. Your state has the highest electricity costs in the entire nation. Tell your governor he ought to work on that a little bit. You know that, Steve? You have the highest cost in the entire nation. I will quickly be able to cut that number in half or more than that. I'll do that. Nobody knew that. New Hampshire has the highest electricity cost. I think the highest energy cost, but highest electricity cost in the nation. Let's go to all electric cars. How does that sound, right? You have the highest electric cost in the nation. They don't want to give you, they don't want you driving. Like, how about driving for about an hour and 15 minutes? And then say, it's time to get a charge. Joe Biden cares only about enriching his own family. I care about enriching your family and you. A Biden victory will be bad for you, good for China, and truly great for these globalists. We've got a lot of globalists. A Trump victory will be bad for the globalists, the rhinos, the communists, the Marxists, but it will be great for the hardworking people of New Hampshire. Within hours of my inauguration, I will begin the process of terminating every Biden policy that is brutalizing New Hampshire and all U.S. workers. I will restore my famously successful executive order requiring that for every one new regulation, 2 old regulations must be eliminated. That was so successful. You remember that? When I did that, and I was actually getting 12, 13, 14 cut down. It was amazing, actually. But they put many of them back. But they haven't been able to up your taxes yet because we have a very strong bill. We went through everything to make sure that nobody could tamper with it. But they're trying to raise your taxes very greatly. Instead of growing the size and scope of the federal government every year, we will shrink it every year with aggressive cost reduction targets for each federal department. But we'll take care of our military. We have to. We have no choice. A lot of bad actors out there looking to do harm. We will take care of our military. You know, I rebuilt our entire military. They gave $85 billion of it to Afghanistan, but in probably the most embarrassing moment in the history of our country, $85 billion worth of brand new military equipment. I will create a true national trade policy like the kind that made New Hampshire a manufacturing and industrial powerhouse in the old days. Remember the old days? You see those buildings all over and you say, wow. I did a great job in renegotiating trade deals with other countries. They were the worst, the most horrible deals I've ever seen. I'd often wondered to myself, who the hell negotiated these deals? They were so bad. You'd say they were either like very, very stupid people or they hated our country. Could only be one of two. I think both. Yeah, they probably. I think maybe both. Now, the worst deals I've ever seen with Japan and with South Korea, Mexico, Canada, China, all of these countries, it was just amazing how bad they were. And, you know, like South Korea, we take care of their economy. We take care of everything. We take care of the military. They're right next door to Kim Jong-un. He and I have a very good relationship. People would say, it's not good to have a good relationship. Yeah, it's very good to have a good relationship. It really is. But he's not so happy with Biden. He says bad things about Biden. But what I really wanted to do, the Trump Reciprocal Trade Act, you know what that is? That will go along with the Trump tax cuts, which they haven't been able to terminate because we've drawn them so powerfully under the Reciprocal Trade Act. This is, think of this, every country, do we have any children here? No. Couple. Close, that's such a good-looking guy. Put your hands over your ears. Every country, he'll hear it soon enough. Every country is screwing us, right? So they've all charged us taxes and trade barriers. India, China, everyone. Europe, by the way, all over Europe. Under the Trump Reciprocal Trade Act, if India, as an example, or China, Europe, any place, any country charges us, let's say 100% or 200%, that's what they do. You could ask Harley Davidson, you could ask a lot of companies that are unable to put their product into these countries because what they do, they make it impossible. We immediately charge them the exact same thing. It's called reciprocal. So if India charges our companies 100, we charge their companies 100. It's very simple. And yet we have people in Congress that say, no, I don't think that's good. Anybody that says that's no good, very interesting. Lindsey Graham, the progressive from South Carolina. No, he's a progressive, but he's got some good things too, okay? But Lindsey Graham, I said to him, Lindsey, you got to go along with this. We were all set to get it done. You got to go along with this. He said, so let me get this straight. If they charge us, we charge them the same thing. He said it's not his strength. Other things are his strength. He said, so they charge us, we charge them, same thing, right? Yeah, you got my vote. That's so easy. But, you know, you have guys in there that I guess campaign contributions are much worse than that. Maybe campaign contributions that aren't recorded. But can you imagine? But we were close to getting that done, and then the election was rigged. But we would have had that done, and done very, very quickly. One of two things will happen. They will get rid of the tariffs on us. They'll most likely get rid of them if you start doing this, because we have countries that it's so imbalanced, so unfair. The deficits are massive. As an example, with China, $600 billion we lose every year. I got it down, way down, and then we had a little surprise on an election, and they're way up now. They're doing better than they've ever done. But they'll leave them. The United States will make a fortune on this. The United States will make an absolute fortune, get rid of your deficits, and other countries won't go around saying we're stupid people, because that's what they say right now. We're stupid people to allow this to happen, where they charge us and we don't charge them. Cars, as an example. In China, you make a car in America, send it to China, you have to pay a fortune to get it in. You have like 9 different tax structures. They can make cars and send them into us. We did put some taxes on, though, I will tell you that. I was ready to get all of this passed, and we had great support when we got hit with the election, and we got hit with the COVID, and we got hit with everything you could get hit with, and then we rebuilt it, and we had the stock market actually higher than it was just prior to COVID, when you think of it. Pretty amazing. Regeneron, so many different things we did. We did a great job. We never got credit for that one. They give Biden credit. He doesn't know he's alive. I mean, jeez. Under the Trump Reciprocal Trade Act, companies, factories, and jobs will come roaring back into our country, and massive deficits that we've been paying for decades and decades, it's going to disappear. The deficits will disappear almost overnight. I will also revoke China's most favored nation trade status. You believe it? They were given a most favored nation because they say they're a growing nation. Well, we're a growing nation also, okay? If they're a growing nation, then we're a growing nation. I will gain total independence from China economically. I'll hold the Chinese Communist Party accountable for unleashing the China virus upon the world. And nobody can pay the cost of what that costs. The lives, number one, the lives, all of the millions and millions of lives. But you're talking about $50 to $60 trillion. China doesn't have it. Nobody has that. But something will happen. There's going to be something happening. Just like I got $28 billion for the farmers, something's going to happen, because what took place there is disgraceful. And it did come from the Wuhan labs, as I said, from day one. Biden is proposing a $4.7 trillion tax hike. Congratulations. I, on the other hand, will deliver tax cuts, energy price cuts, and interest rates cuts, the likes of which you have never seen before. Your interest rates are so high, your housing values are going down, and the economy is doing terribly. Unlike Ron DeSantis, the Bushes, the Ryans, the Roves, Karl Rove, he's another beauty, the Rhinos, and the Democrats, I will always protect Social Security and Medicare for our great seniors. I will end Joe Biden's war on American energy and immediately begin the process of expediting construction of new natural gas pipelines to New England. Again, you pay the highest prices in the country. You know, for a long time, the Democrats in New York would not allow a pipeline to go through from where they were coming through New York State, where they could really use the jobs, really use the jobs, into New England. You know where you get a lot of your energy from? Is Russia. They have Russian ships out there. For years, they've had Russian ships. And if they did a pipeline going through a place in New York State that needs it so badly, they need the jobs, this would be a positive. And you don't see it. It's underground, and the environmentalists and the governors. And once you get that done, I'll tell you, and I will do it. We'll do whatever you have to do. I'll get it done. It's a simple pipeline. New York has fought it off for years. It's not going to happen. Not going to happen. Your prices will drop in half and much more than that. You're paying so much higher than anybody else. That's the reason. But we love New York other than that, right? Okay, other than that. But no, they have to do that. They have to do that. We're all part of a team. And if you want to buy a car powered by an internal combustion engine or a hybrid, or if you want to buy an electric car, some people like an electric car, like what, 4% of the people? You'll be able to do it long into the future.